Junior officials. By the way, one question. Did you send them here to help me or to behead me? Because they don't look happy at all. Wing Wing, hello?
We finished working on your full face.
You bet them cheeks it's finished! And with picture-perfect measurements. The fit is fitting! And we didn't have to meet up at all, because I got his measurements while he slept! And that's not all! It's just for you! Engine and Semi you told me about you, so it's got your swagger!
Alright. Alright, I think we're all set. So, but overall, you still having a good day so far?
Oh yeah, it's just starting, baby. Should be fine.
That's great. That's great. All right, I guess we can go ahead and get into this. I know we've been waiting a long time. So, so who's Branden Loera I'm speaking to today?
Who am I? Well, let's see. I I grew up in Texas for the most part. Um, my family is from Mexico, so sometimes we go back and forth there. But yeah, just a little south of Dallas, and um, I mainly started as far as like acting goes. My acting journey started when technically I was like 4 or 5. So I was a part of this Casa Manana kids in Fort Worth, and we put on some little shows every now and then. And I still remember those. Like I remember them clearly. I was a little tiger, and my brother was like a unicorn or something. And then it actually like revamped, I guess, whenever I turned 11-ish. Um, I was in junior high or something, and I was sick. My mom was supposed to bring me home, and she saw a little Aladdin um, audition, and she was like, "Hey, are you gonna do this?" And I'm like, "No, it's today. Plus, I'm sick. Let's just go home." And then, she said, "You're gonna stay in, and you're gonna do that audition, and you're gonna nail it." So I was like, "Oh, mom, come on, this isn't fair." I ended up getting the lead, and I loved the process. I mean, by no means was I any good at that point, but that's when it's sort of like the love for acting sort of blossomed, I suppose. And then from there in college, I did some vocal performance in musical theater, and Shakespeare was involved in that as well, which I ended up loving Shakespeare because I hated it in high school because it just wasn't taught very well. Um, and then after college, I was mainly doing Shakespeare. I did a little bit of opera, I did some musicals, some plays, but mainly Shakespeare. And then that Shakespeare led me to voiceover, um, which it was through like a lot of the community does a lot of classical work. So I would work with them on these shows, and eventually they're like, "Hey, Brandon, like we like your work, we like your work ethic. You sound great. Why don't you come to the studio and we'll test you out at Funimation at the time?" And that's how it started. And they're like, "Hey, if you do well, I'm sure they'll send you a contract and you can do other stuff later on." So there was a moment where I moved to Virginia for a couple of years. When I came back, I guess it was like, mm, I don't know. I want to say like 6 years ago or so. Um, I just went real hard to the paint and voiceover, let everybody know I was back, and then it just was off to the races. So that's me.
Yeah, that's nice. And you pretty much answered like my first question, so I guess we just skip
Nice.
one. But yeah, I know that you had to have some sort of beginning. I know your mom was pushing you to do something that you didn't really want to do because I was under the weather. Hey, my parents are like that too sometimes, but
Oh yeah,
overall, you still get a nice positive outcome out of it.
100%. And she was probably one of my only creative like family members um that I had. Like she sang a lot. She did one of those like presidential choirs back in the day where they would travel and stuff. And she was a big dancer too. And I guess I got the bug from her because it couldn't be from anybody else.
Moms are gonna be moms, you know.
Thank you, Mom.
There you go. So I'm guessing, with that question, also saying what drew you to voice acting over stage or camera. I guess you answered that question already too.
Well, no, not really. What drew me to voice acting in general?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. Number two says is what first drew you to voice acting over stage or on camera work?
Well, I'd say my brother and I both are actors at Crunchyroll. So what started, which is crazy, by the way, like that doesn't happen very often, right? So it's really cool that we have that. We started loving voiceover like when we were younger and we were watching at my grandma's house, Toonami really late at night. Um, and we would be watching Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, Sailor Moon, um, and she would always catch us because uh, we're not supposed to be up that late, and they would play those shows really late, and we're like, we got to get our fix, like we got to see what happens. It's not like on these streaming services now. We had to watch it weekly, or it was just gone. And then we're just what happened the previous week. Um, and she would always come in, she'd be like, "It is 2 o'clock in the morning." It's like, turn off everything. But after a while, whenever we started thinking about like, how is this made? Like what's the process for this? We really were like, okay, obviously Goku isn't Goku in real life, so who is this person? Um, that's sort of when it was, because we were always fans. And then, it just sort of blossomed because we're, us growing up as actors and doing the acting thing, we're eventually gonna think like, "Okay, well, who's behind the screen? How do we do that? How do we get involved in that?" And I remember my brother and I, we had this, like, competition between ourselves of like, "Okay, who's gonna get in Funimation first?" And it was me by, like, a month, and then he got in shortly after.
Wow. Well, hey, I guess siblings got to have some kind of relationship. Listen, thing. I was just like you back then. Me and my cousin, my sister, we would stay up and watch shows. My grandparents said it's time for bed, but sometimes throughout the night we kind of turn down the volume so they can't hear us.
That's right, you find a way. You will find
But,
a way.
but yeah, I know, like watching these shows over the years makes you feel like, oh shoot, that could be me one of these days. But you have to do like research on like who this person is, what they did, and how they got to where they need to be. It's how you got to where you are right now. I know it's a long process, but at least you made it.
Oh, yeah, super grateful. I mean, gosh, I remember when, I got out of college and, socials being what they are, you can't help but have sort of, like, imposter syndrome and, like, comparing yourself to these people who are already very established, and you're like, "Why am I not already with them?" And it's like, we just gotta be patient, right? But my brother and I, he kinda, like, less so as far as, like, musicals and things like that, but the 2 big things that a lot of people in the DFW area in Texas were, like, striving toward this
Right?
high pedestal was national tours for a musical and Funimation. And they're like, it was so elusive, and it's still elusive. Like, we just didn't know what to do. And well, you would send the demo tapes in every year, and you're just a fly on the wall at that point. Like, a needle in a haystack type of situation. There's no way that much is going to come out of that when they have thousands upon thousands and they don't know you. It's really difficult. I mean, it does happen, but the chances are really, really low. So it was good that we got into the acting scene and like was with the people and got to know them that way.
That's nice. And listen, some things, some things in this world are for free. There's always a price, and it's like, yo, we can try to like audition as much as we can, but sometimes it's not 100% guaranteed. But hey, we still got to keep moving and pick ourselves up, going and try to regroup and trying to think, oh, what else? Like, how can we make sure this is the role that we wanted to do? Because I know some of you guys have been logged to play like very iconic roles over the years, but this guy got it. Let's see if I can get the next one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just because you want it really, really, really bad, just because you've researched it, just because you've watched the manga, the show in the sub or whatever, and like maybe you've done the audiobooks for the show beforehand or something, like that doesn't automatically guarantee you for that role. And it depends on the director. Like we have 12 directors or so, and then assistant directors on top of that. And then the producers who sometimes help cast for the bigger shows. So it really just depends on who they're good with, who they've worked with a ton. Like there's still, I'll tell you right now, I've been there for like 6 or 7 years. There's still directors that I have not worked with to this day. Not Walla, not Bits, not anything. So it really doesn't matter who you are. It's all about like the director's process, and if they don't know you, then it doesn't matter how much you want in the show, you know.
Right.
And it's all about rejection. Truly, like we have to have such. I mean, we're supposed to have such thick skin to just, like you said, be able to get back up and try it again when we're beaten down and told no. So yeah, it's just a big old waiting game. So patience and perseverance.
Exactly. Just find ways to get back at it. You don't. It doesn't have your journey doesn't have to stop there. It can still be something.
Yeah.
Were there any shows or actors you looked up to when you were younger that inspired you? Because I know you said you were on Toonami. There was a lot of shows on Toonami that maybe there was a few actors or something that caught your attention.
Yeah. I'd s- I- I'm trying to think if there's more than one because I know for sure Todd Havercorn was one of those people. Um, I really loved uh Fairy Tale. I really loved uh, uh Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And he just had this iconic voice. Um, and we, like me and my brother, both really loved him. And he was one of the first people that whenever we went to a con, we would try to find where he was um, at that specific con if he was there. But like that was the one where like, okay, we have to go find him. Um, so as far as anybody else, I don't think we had that sort of fervor for anybody else. So I think it was Todd Havercorn who really like set it off and the person we looked up to most.
Okay, yeah, I recognize him from a few things that he voiced. He was in a lot of shows that I watched. I think he was what shows he was? Oh wait, he was in Rosario Vampire. He was in Dragon Ball Super as Jocko, all that stuff. Yeah, so
Mhm.
he's very good. So
Oh yeah.
very good voice actors. So I can tell he would be your favorite because I've heard him in a lot of shows. I probably need to get back to checking out some of the stuff that he was in before. But yeah, he's a nice inspiration.
Oh yeah. It's unfortunate that he doesn't do as much stuff anymore. I think he's, more video games, but then he's got his foundation that he's working with. I can't remember. I think it has to do with pets, but I see that on his story all the time, and he seems like such a good guy.
I didn't know he stopped because I was like, has he done any current products? And then I saw like, oh, he's probably doing video games now, doing his own thing. There's not like, like with some of you guys, I know there's not like a lot of opportunities going on these days. Maybe some here and there, but probably not an everyday thing.
It's interesting because um, after the pandemic, anime sort of boomed, right? There's a lot more anime to be had, especially when it comes to like isekai genre. There's a lot of those right now. But also, after the pandemic, there's also a lot more people in the industry, especially whenever the pandemic was in its like zenith. Um, a lot of remote capable voice actors started entering the fray. And whereas like those people, those companies who were just local only, we want you in studio, obviously couldn't do that during that time for like a couple years. So that like exploded the roster for everyone. So it kind like there's a lot of work, but also there's a lot of people. So yeah, I guess it kind of does seem like that there's not a whole lot out there because spreading the love and all that. But yeah, it's just different after the pandemic. I mean, there's some companies that are just kind of going back to local only, but I think after that moment, it sort of changed voice acting in general to be more remote friendly. So yeah, the roster is definitely bigger.
Yeah, and lately there's a lot of people who's doing like a lot of at home projects now. I talked to somebody before, I think he's one of my friends. He graduated from college with me. He's now a professor at a university in Pennsylvania. He's saying like a lot of people are doing a lot of at home projects. Like they have their own home studio. I think the pandemic taught us that even in these times, we all have to go home and do our own thing. So home office, home studio, like I don't mind. I don't mind staying in and just doing a few projects at home. Maybe get on, play some games, do Twitch or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, mostly, and especially with technology evolving these days, most people are doing a lot of home studio work.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the capabilities and the like professional quality, absolutely. Um, especially not just for voiceover in general, but like just companies. Like we can basically, they're like, oh, we can basically do everything that the company wants us to do at home, and we don't have to drive in rush hour traffic. I mean, of course, everybody wants to stay home and do their thing, like it's much easier. Instead of like having to either drive or fly out to LA or New York or Texas or what have you. It's just easier. I mean, it's definitely enticing. And if you have the studio, then utilize it.
Definitely. And don't get me wrong, I still want to go out and enjoy life for a bit, but sometimes I got to leave the man cave a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's much easier because when the pandemic started, most voice actors from Funimation, they just did their voice lines in their own home, and they just went from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys are still doing that kind of stuff because it's like, yeah, do we really want to struggle in all this traffic trying to get to the studio, kind of thing? But but
So
sometimes it's not up to you.
yeah, yeah. I will say Crunchyroll right now is kind of really local. As I mean, if there's some legacy people who have been there for a long, long, long time, and like the really big people like Matt Mercer, Travis Willingham, who are busy out in LA doing their thing, obviously they have to source connect in whenever their schedules allow it. But for the most part, trying to be as local as we can for as far as Crunchyroll goes.
I understand. And here's the thing, I gotta respect, and I understand why some of these guys want the East Coast. Because I said that to some of the voice actors when they came to close to the cons where I was. Because the thing is, I'm in Georgia. So,
Okay.
but there's Atlanta. I always go to Atlanta for those big conventions because some of you guys do come from the West Coast there. But yeah, most of you guys live in California because the studios are based in there, like Bang
Right.
Zoom, Crunchyroll, Marvel Studios, Disney, etc. So I was like, now I understand why they live on the West Coast because all the studios are based on the West Coast. Listen,
That's true.
I'll get there. I'll get there eventually, but right now, I'm just taking it slow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, no, no. I mean, there's plenty of actors. I mean, not I don't VO off the top of my head, but I know there's on camera actors like Harrison Ford or Chris Pratt or something where they got started later in life. 30s, 40s. Harrison was like I could be totally BSing it, but I feel like he was like in the 50s before he like or 40s before he like really took off with his stuff. Um, and then there was John from The Office, Jim. he was talking about his journey and that, he was about to quit or whatever, quit acting in general because it was just taking so long. And then he went to this one random audition, and then, from that point, instantly recognized. So it's all about just taking it in stride, being patient, not comparing yourself to others, letting your journey be your journey. Obviously, take the help where you can get it. Have your friends to help you out, um, and just keep on chugging along because that one project's going to come along, and then everything's going to explode after that.
Of course. And listen, I always tell myself and I tell others, enjoy the small moments in life because, big moments are going to be pretty bad and overwhelming. So
Yeah,
enjoy the small moments.
absolutely.
Yeah. Next question. How did your background in musical theater and vocal performance prepare you for the voice box, like the booth?
It it prepared me for like breathing support for sure, breath support, and the musicality of lines and how they tend to work themselves out. Like I am very technical, and I do like attention to detail when it comes to like on a musical line. If it's like piano, forte, fortissimo, crescendo, um, and like staccato, all those things, I try to like have this laser vision, just trying to figure out and dissect the line. And Shakespeare helps with that as well. That's very musical too, with the pattern and how it's like stressed and unstressed, and just like really going into the science behind it, uh, has helped immensely with just like how to work out a phrase or keeping the breath all the way throughout so that you're supported throughout these big monologues, these paragraphs or what have you. Um, yeah, I'd say for the most part, those things, it's really about like, oh, it's like, oh, I ended on sort of like, and I do this all the time, and some people don't know what I'm talking about, but it's like, that kind of ended on a minor chord, and I need it to end on a major so that it feels more final. um, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, it does.
like endings super important. That helps me out so much. So I'm like, the way I ended that was sort of like a question, and it was like an upward inflection, and it needs to have sort of a downward inflection. And some people get really confused by that. And luckily, I've had so much training in that specific thing that, like, you tell me, oh, you want downward inflection, oh, you want upward inflection, no problem at all.
Yeah. And I know what I understand is like, when you come to these certain roles, you have to visualize, okay, this is what this guy's doing in the next scene. So how does my voice need to be when he's going through some sort of pain or agony? Some kind, or it's just having a sad, slow day. Basically, it's kind of like in that kind of scenario where the next scene is going to be a little bit important, interesting, or just not as crucial as part of the show needs to go in the direction. But as you said before, you want to make sure that your voice is like ready for whatever kind of scenario is going to be thrown at you.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, it's good. Next question. As a Hispanic American actor, have you felt the importance of representation in anime and gaming by any chance?
Yes. So my mentor, Sean Gann, and Marcus Simic as well, but Sean has been all about having diverse casting, as well as Caitlin Glass. And there are specific shows that I can allude to, like Sean Gann had Apothecary Diaries, um, wanted a lot of Asian people in the show, of course, makes sense.
Yeah,
Then there was Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, if you remember that, um, had a bunch of Hispanic people in there. So I was really glad to be a part of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale because it just with my brothers and sisters, and I didn't even, what's crazy is I didn't even realize it until I saw the cast list And then somebody had mentioned, like, "Oh my gosh, do you realize DC? Like, this is awesome." And I just had no idea. And it's like, especially for modern day VO in the States. I mean, like, we have the capability of doing that and having authentic representation. So why not utilize it while we have it, you know?
Right.
Some countries don't have that ability, like Japan does, like that they don't really have that. So it's, you know, it makes sense. We're here in the States, and if those people are that ethnicity, then use them. I mean, we got them.
And to be honest, I like how, and yes, I met Kate in Glass. I met her at Savannah Animation 2 years ago. Very nice lady. She, I also understand that some of you guys, because I know like there's a lot of people who need like representation, and because there's been a lot of, you know, racism going on. I said like you can't be this character or whatnot. I recently did an interview with 3 cosplayers 2 weeks ago. We were
Yeah,
talking about the importance of. I think you understand the situation with blackface, right? You shouldn't be darkening your skin and all that stuff.
sure.
Yeah, this person was being kind of rude, so she was saying a lot of disgusting things that just wasn't right. So we tried to educate her, but she just wouldn't take it. But the reason why I brought that up is because I want y'all to know that you guys are doing your best when trying to put representation, because people like AJ Beckles and Gino Robinson, they've been voice characters who are white. Hawks in My Hero Academia, he's a white
Yeah.
man. They put Gino Robinson as Hawks. AJ Beckles is Ocaron. Ocaron's white. They put AJ Beckles as Ocaron, and then Donadon. And so on and so on. Because, like, for example, like, Mauricio Tessera, I spoke to him like 2 weeks ago. He was Guido Gandhi in My Hero Academia, You're Next, and he's a white person with red hair. But thing is, I think the main point I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter what you are as long as like you bring enough love, passion, and energy into these characters, and be like, hey, many people can be like, hey, that could be me. I can voice one of these guys. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as I can provide much joy and creation to the fans who love this sort of thing. If you see where I'm going with all this.
I mean, speaking of, like, not to make this controversial at all, but I mean, very topical. Zeno Robinson, you were talking about Zeno, and I'm in Gachiakute, he's in Gachiakute, and then
Mhm.
there was that discourse online about him not being black enough for the role. And I'm like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm obviously, I have no, like, I'm not black, so I can't speak to that. But that just seems, I mean, what do you think about that? Like, when you heard that, like, that seems ridiculous.
I just people just don't think before they say something, and that actually when I heard about that, I was like, yo, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. Like,
Yeah.
let these voice actors do what they're supposed to do. They're there to provide us entertainment. Like for example, like sorry, I'm just venting now.
Go off.
So like I don't care if you're Hispanic, Black, Japanese, Korean, whatever. As long as y'all can provide entertainment for me to enjoy, like I want to check out the masterpiece, the project. I want to check out all the hard work y'all put in these characters. I don't like all that negative stuff can go away, because there have been a lot of controversial comments going around lately this year. Lately they talked about how Astrid from the How to Train Your Dragon movie was, if you saw that situation, complaining that she's not.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
Good
then
God.
the actor was like, I don't care about what y'all think. I'm here to make a film. If y'all don't like it, then don't watch it. And then, the same thing happened with Halle Bailey, The Little Mermaid for 2023.
Yeah.
Like they were saying nasty things. And I was like, what? Why do you guys even care? It's not even real.
They care so much. And there's another one with Song Cho where he was playing some white dude, and then they decided to get on him for, like, "Oh, you're not white. You're not skinny. Why are you playing this guy?" And I'm like, "Why are we going backwards? This doesn't make any sense. Why is everybody getting mad?" First of all, and especially with the Xeno comment, why are we fighting each other? Like, we should not, we are already marginalized and all this stuff. Like, you don't need to fight each other. I don't understand why we're not helping each other up and just congratulating the wins?
It's still alive and well lately. It's been getting crazy out here in this country because of you know who in the White
True
House.
that. True that.
So, but
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing: the way y'all doing on this, you guys are telling these stories to fight back. This is like the only way y'all can fight back because y'all are telling all these stories. Like forget all those people who feel like, oh, you don't belong in this anime or something. They can swim in shark infested waters. Honestly, so just you know, I just wish people would just enjoy the anime instead. Like I don't care who. Listen, let me tell y'all this. Y'all got to support here because I don't care what Crunchyroll like who voices this character like Crunchyroll assigns. As long as the animation and the TV show and the movie came out spectacular, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
No
yeah,
matter who they are, I mean, the talent's going to be there. Okay.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like for some reason they think, at least right now, they're like, oh, only what white people, only Japanese people have the best sort of acting. And I'm like, what the hell are you actually talking about? Doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
And I know some of you guys are actually finding because I know Erica Limbeck and the others, they're having like these sit down conversations about racism and stuff. So I actually saw one of her podcast episodes, and I was like, I like that she explained all of this. She's because they've been talking about the same situation, how there needs to be representation in all these like shows and TV shows and movies. And you guys are doing a great job. And listen, I appreciate all the hard work y'all put in these anime shows. You're not gonna get any complaints from me. If I like the show, I like the show. If I don't like it, like it's not because of you guys. It's because I was like, this could have been better with the whole scenes and stuff. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I don't care who's talking.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't like it, just watch another anime that you do like.
Yeah,
But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
but yeah, leave the other stuff out of it.
100%. Yeah. Why attack us?
I don't know. Sorry. That was a crazy talk. I got heated for a second.
As we should.
So I just had to listen throughout this podcast. Sometimes when it's like topics like that come, I just start venting.
I mean, we can't let it slide. You know what I mean? We can't be okay with it. Cannot be complacent.
No. We're almost at the end of this section, but we're making good time. What was your very first professional role, and how did you feel when you booked it?
For voiceover, it was a combination. So there was three at the same time. It was the named roles. It was I can't believe. Oh wait, I have it right here. Hold on. It was Kazekage and One Piece, right? That was the first one. I know that one. There was Vinland Saga was close after that with Spider. And then it was Shinobi no Itsuki as Genshi. Oh god, I don't he's not even here anymore. Love it. But so that was like my first one. The Shinobi no Itsuki and One Piece. One Piece, I appeared in like 10 episodes in the Wano arc or something like that. Uh and he's like little pink ninja, long red hair, scroll in his mouth. So I wasn't doing anything really crazy as far as voice goes. It was just me and then like, you know, biting a finger or something just to emulate the scroll because they didn't want me to like fully write down like this because then you can't understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Um, so we had to sort of cheat it. And then with Shinobi, I quickly found out that the like sort of on camera style of acting that I was doing with like the exposition that I was giving in like a information room whenever the captain is disseminating information to the lieutenants and the officers and things like that. It's like, okay, I did the thing. I did the flaps. I sounded sort of like the guy. I'm good. And then you watch the episode and you're like, man, that was the most boring thing I have ever heard in my life. I'm like, I can't believe I thought that was okay. So that was my very first thing. And I quickly like sort of began to work the ear out and like just getting the kinks and understanding that even when you're doing something like that, there is a way to say it that isn't just, I am now telling you information, and now we're gonna go to the next scene. Um, so yeah, a lot of lessons were learned in those first couple shows, and I try not to reference them at all in hopes that people will forget that I was in it. But yeah, those were my first two.
I can tell you had a lot of fun. I think you maybe had a few ups and downs, but I think you managed to get through it. So
But
it's
yeah,
nice.
luckily I learned. Luckily I learned real quick. Because if it kept going with how I started, then I would not be in this business anymore. I'll tell you that.
And it happens to the best of us. So
Yeah.
no complaint, no complaints here.
And
Um,
I'll say, Jordan Dash Cruz and myself, we kind of had the same thing. He's like, "Don't you ever look at my first work because it is not indicative of what I can do now." I mean, that's true of everyone, but he's like, "I'm really embarrassed of my first thing," and I'm like, "Hey, me too. Hey, awesome." So it feels good, like knowing that there are people, veterans out there who are like doing the work and are very good at what they do, and to think like, "Oh, you there was a point where you were never just a legend," and they're like, "Yeah, like all the time." Um, same for me. Like it did not start great. It was very rocky.
don't forget, we're all still human.
Yeah,
So
human. We're learning the thing. Just keep her going.
yeah. All right, we're done with section one. I know that was a long section one, but hey, I had to make sure I had some very good questions. Section two, career roles. Now, this is going to be the fun one. I think this is part or one of part two of one of the fun things. Out of all your characters, which role was the biggest learning experience for you?
Well, I'll say when I landed Long Chin Cho and Heaven Official's Blessing, that was like the my first one that I had art made for me. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought I had to make all my announcements. And they're like, yeah, here's the graphic. Here's when you can announce and have fun. I was like, okay, cool. So being a part of the main cast for season two was crazy. You're in most of the episodes, which you're not always doing. Um, so you're always on for the most part. And for that one, it was mainly just my voice. I'm not like doing anything different with it. I'm going up and down and I'm experiencing every facet of human emotion possible. The story was fantastic. Like there's not a lot of times when we get to like be happy, be sad, angry, tears, like the whole gambit. Like we had it all. Um, and what what I had to learn really quickly was how to like get in it really fast. And while like Jerry was the director for that show, and he is like, "You're a professional actor. You can do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm just gonna make sure that you're sort of like doing time correctly, like we're on time, and the flaps match and things like that. Because especially with a Donghua Chinese animation, the flaps go like a mile a minute. So obviously that's very technical to try and get down and like working with the engineer and everything. But he's like singing Backstreet Boys or something or telling a joke while I'm trying to do a crying scene, and I'm like, "Oh god, Jerry." It's like, just this is like, I'm professional, but this is really difficult. So really it tested me, as far as just, like, staying in it despite of, like, outside stuff coming in my ear, right? Um, and, yeah, it's really just how far and how long can you take the emotion that you're holding on to, and just letting it play out through the entirety of the scene. Um, so it was really about like stamina, watching out for my voice whenever things got really heated, um, and just making sure that no matter what headspace I'm in on that day, it all goes away and you're focused on this story because there's like hundreds of thousands of people who absolutely like this is their favorite thing ever. So I got to do it justice. And that was the first time that I really felt the pressure and to like just do the work as best I can.
Hey, I can see. And listen, all you guys, y'all gonna have those challenges when y'all get into the studio. Like, ooh, what are some tough obstacles we're gonna face today? It's
Yeah.
like you don't know until you start practicing. But I know that once y'all get in, y'all know how to like deal with it and make sure that it's all flowing perfectly as y'all want it to be. And I'm sure the directors are doing the same thing. Make sure they're dying through, you know, dying y'all through every step of the process.
Right. Yeah. 100%. I mean, especially on those shows where like it's a big hit. They want to make sure, and especially the producers too. They want to make sure that everything is, you're dotting the i's and crossing the t's, and it's a polished, finished product and not half baked at all.
Of course, definitely, definitely. Listen, I don't want half. I want half. Gotta make sure it's 100%.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, next question. I think you might like this one. You worked on action heavy series like Blue Lock. By the way, I need to get back to that show because I'm only like 13 episodes in, and
Oh,
quieter ones like Dress Up My Darling. Which type pushes you more as an actor?
fits me more.
Yeah,
um
yeah. Which type? I'm not saying which type pushes you more as an actor.
oh, pushes me. um well, interesting. So, well, with my Blue Lock character, I wasn't screaming like Rico Fajardo. He'll probably say that Blue Lock pushed him a lot because I mean I'm sure he lost his voice many a time because I heard him and like that is like I don't know it. I don't want to say it exceeds Dragon Ball level, but that was heavy. That was heavy what he did. Um, and then with my Dress Up Darling, it's different in the fact that obviously we're not screaming, but we are having to do more grounded performances, much like you see out in the world.
Right.
Um, and you're experiencing more emotion than just like in Blue Lock. Usually it's a trope of, oh, you're the aggressive one. You're the one that likes pain. You're the one who's super aloof. You're the one who's got two personalities. You're the haunted one, like myself. Like, I never went in Blue Lock. I never went like above this. It was just this the whole time. Um,
Yeah.
or whatever it was. But like it was just this wispy sort of thing for me. So as far as action stuff goes, it just depends on the content. Obviously, if you're screaming, and that's going to be difficult. Um, but and it might not have the emotion tied to it. Sometimes it does. A lot of times it does. But then in stuff like slice of life and romance and shojo and things like that, you really got to focus on the emotions, um, and that has its own difficulty. So, obviously, you're not straining your voice, but your brain is constantly working and your heart is constantly working.
Wow. I can tell. Sometimes when I be listening y'all in the TVs and the movie theaters, I was like, I don't know how they do it. Like they're basically like screaming their heads off all day. I bet they don't get migraines after all the screaming. But it's really nuts. I mean, I know that sometimes it's like, oh, we get to see, we gotta be prepared. Like drink lots of water, make sure my voice is clear because there's gonna be a lot of screaming coming up. So
Oh
plug
yeah.
your ears. They're gonna rock the house.
Yeah, I will say, uh, I was doing Gachiakata, and on episode 9 when we were doing the rocking out scene, um, that took me out. And when we were doing episode 10, there was a lot of screaming at the front end, and oh boy, man, that energetic character can scream. And after we were done with that episode, I was starting to feel a little sore after that, or a little hoarse. So yeah, throat coat right after. But I mean, gosh, I could not remember a time when I had that much fun in the booth. Like I and here's the thing, I was waiting forever for that and for that to come out like 5 or 6 weeks or something like that because we were so far ahead. And I could not remember what I did, but I knew it was like, are we allowed to curse on here? I don't know if we're allowed to curse.
Hey, listen, that's why it's no filters. There's no filters.
I've been
You're
trying to
good.
censor myself this whole time. And I was like, oh my God, it was batshit crazy, man. It absolutely was nuts. So yeah, that one specifically, like August pushed me a lot.
I bet it was hell for you.
In the best way possible.
So, but hey, at least you're making a masterpiece, right? At least you're making a good show.
It's a masterpiece. Yeah. Obviously, you've caught up. Very nice.
Listen, voice acting is an art. I don't want to mess with the master at work. So,
Thank you. That's why we're in our little tiny booths, so no one can mess with us besides the director.
there you go. There you go. Do you have a favorite character you've voiced so far?
Oh man, I mean, so far, let's see. If I'm trying to think, okay. So my favorites right now.
Mhm.
Back then, Long Chin Show, Heaven Official's Blessing. I might come back for season 3. Not sure. Probably not. But he was very fun. Like even though it was very difficult for me, it was a very very good time. Uh, Uryu, in Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister was my romance comedy lead. We had 24 episodes. Hard not to be attached to a character when you're with them for 6 months.
Wow.
And you're there, like, sometimes I believe I had like 7-hour sessions. Sometimes like when it was like peak time, and I had a lot of lines, or there was a time when there was like a body swap episode. So we were essentially doubling the work because Caitlin had this idea that, okay, in order to properly emulate what is happening with the other actor and pretending to be them, that we're gonna make them do the other person's lines so that they can then um basically mimic how they would say the line, right? So we're making like this little skeleton frame for the other person. So it's essentially double the work. Um, but that was a whole lot of fun too, because again, that was my voice. A lot more comedy, but oh my gosh, when we went into the backstory, I mean, it was beautiful. Like it wasn't just about, you know, getting the comedy to land. It was about like, my mom passed away and that I didn't believe in the gods because they didn't save her, and like doing everything I can, all the charms, everything to try and like, make her better in the hospital or bring her back, and nothing was working. I didn't hear anything from the gods or anything like that. And then, I'm living with these sisters and they sort of, change my personality, and we're just kind of affecting each other and growing together. It was beautiful. I mean, truly experienced everything there. Was very grateful because I honestly I just thought it was going to be a comedy the whole time, and just like, oh, this is what we're going to deal with this episode. Let's deal with this a little conflict, and then we're going to be hoo hoo ha ha at the end. It was not like that at all. It was not like that at all. And then obviously August recently has blown up like crazy. Um, I hope I get to see him again. I know I will. I just don't know when, because it's one of those shows where it's coming out the English is coming out at the same time, so there's no way to know what's coming in the future. Obviously you can read the manga, but you don't know when it's going to appear in the episode. So I know I have some very important arcs. The guy is unhinged, and I am here for it. I will say I don't necessarily get to play these types of guys a lot, so I am really holding on for dear life because it's the most fun I've had to just like fully show my range and to just be as crazy as possible. And like I've had a number of messages who've been like, I've had no idea that this was even possible for you. Like, just a nice little compliment. So for sure, like I know August has only been 2 episodes, but from what I've done, really, really freaking fun.
Hey, you'd be surprised as to how far these French shows like to keep everything, like, how far these anime shows like to keep everything wrapped up. Like, waiting until like opening presents on Christmas morning. But I know like some of the like stuff y'all done, there are a lot of like, life lessons in those anime shows. Like, if you pay attention very closely, there have been some life lessons going on. I know like mainly Flanagan, who did Naruto. She actually did that scene when she met her parents because she lost her mother.
That's
So
right. That's right.
she that's what I learned about her this year. I didn't know that she did that scene because she lost, her mother passed away, and she wanted to bring her emotions to Naruto when he met his parents for the first time. So it's in if I can give another example, let's take Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. That kid Gohan, not Kyle Heber Gohan, like Stephanie Maloney Gohan.
Yeah, yeah.
Go like for example, like as I grow up, my parents are not going to be able to take care of me forever, so I have to take care of stuff of my own. The Garlic Jr. art, which I watched 5 weeks ago, it really gave Gohan the chance to really defend for himself because Goku was still absent from the fight with Frieza back in season 3. So nobody was around. What's really interesting to me is how these villains always seem to take advantage of the heroes being divided. So but I'm going off topic. It was him, Krillin, and Piccolo who had to save the Earth this time. Goku was nowhere. Vegeta was off planet because he was trying to find Goku, of course. But Gohan had a chance to shine in one of those filler arcs because I was like, yes, I can handle this without my dad always having to hold my hand.
Right.
So it's basically it's like him growing up and understanding like my dad can't save me forever. I have to fight for myself. And I think that's the same thing they did when they did Dragon Ball Superhero in 2022. Like Goku and Vegeta were off planet. Basically, they wanted to tell a story like what happens when Goku and Vegeta are away. So it was basically going to Piccolo's movie. But basically, that lesson was teaching us that we don't need our parents to take care of stuff. Like I can handle stuff. Like, I can pay my own my own phone bill. I can pay for the house. Basically, if you watch those shows very closely, you'll understand there's some real life lessons that we have to go through in life as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's crazy too. Like the coincidences, whatever you want to call it, the like fate or something. But when you get those roles that so closely resemble your current living situation or like life with like a passing of a family member, and that then that stuff happens like with Naruto or with me tying the knot when my mom passed in the show. I had a family member who passed around the same time, and it's just like it just seems so crazy. Like obviously it happens all the time, but to have it happen at that instant where you're playing this character who is going through the same thing you are right now, I mean, it's very cathartic, I think. And it's just like what good fortune that you actually get to just go through what you're actually feeling in the safest way, like in whatever way you think that works for you. If it's too hard, it's too hard, and you need a break, it's fine. But like for me, it was very helpful that I got to do that at the same time um, as when something was happening with me in real life. So I'm very thankful for that.
That's really nice. And remember, even in these roles, they still carry like a piece of storytelling that people can understand. Hey, it's kind of like Pixar. If you see where I'm going with this, Pixar has a lot of life lessons. They just dropped Ellie on Disney Plus. I might go check it out later if I can. But yeah, it's so basically with y'all voicing all these anime characters and their life experience, it's kind of like Pixar.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lessons everywhere, man, and especially with how anime is nowadays, where it's grounded and more reality stuff. Even the shonen stuff, like Hell's Paradise or Metallic Rouge, original works. Those like they have their action-packed moments, but they're they're so lived in. They're real. They're basically real people, you know, and they're going through real stuff. Like the writing has really been able to bridge the gap between what is like real and what is fantasy. So props to the writers nowadays because they are absolutely smashing it. They're making it very easy for us actors to be like, oh yeah, I know the situation. This is written really well. I can get there immediately.
Listen, making anime it takes time. It's hard. It's like trying to scope a picture, like paint a picture. So, and most of the writers these days, because I've met a few writers. I met Emily Mead. She does a lot of writing these
Oh,
days.
amazing.
You know, she's very nice. I
So
met her.
nice.
I actually have footage of her. Thing is, when I tagged her so many times, she recognized who I was. Because thing is, I wanted to have the chance to talk to you guys because I was breaking down the videos of these conventions and everything. Because like I was saying, like until I can find a way to sit down and talk to you guys, this is like the only thing I do. Yeah, I do have a GoPro camera. So I got it since March. So basically, I've been taking it just record footage of all my interactions. So basically, if I can't get any like good voice actors on here in the meantime, I have to do another video called interactions with voice actors. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing when I go to Anime Week in Atlanta. But yes, she is
Nice.
very nice. You know, she's doing a lot of writing these days for shows, and she does take her time with the writing.
Yeah, I mean, she's top of the top. Her, Macy Ann, James Cheek, Michael Greenbaum. There's I don't know, Bonnie Clinkenbeard, I believe, is also a writer. Uh, that's all I know. But I will say, every big project almost every big project that I've worked on. Oh, Hayden Davio, um, has been mainly with James. Like, Heaven Official's Blessing, Black Butler, Link Click 2, I believe, and then Gachiakata as well. Like we're always following close together, so it's nice to have that relationship. I mean, he's an actor too, obviously, but he's also known for his writing, full-time writer there. But yeah, I'm so thankful for them, and they're so awesome. It's also great when they are actors, so that it's easier for them to write for an actor. You know what I mean? As opposed to just being a writer. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it does make the process easier.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, when I saw like, oh, they done acting, they're directors, they're writers. Listen, if y'all doing anime, y'all got to be people of many talents. So, like I said, like since day one, you know, when I was a kid in high school, I really didn't pay much attention because I was just another fan in the crowd, just wanted to meet you guys. But me growing up, I've got the thing is, I'm, you know, like I said, just turned 25. I'm starting to get more older and wiser because I want to understand you guys and how y'all do things. I want to understand your life experiences. You know, basically, I think what I like most about you guys now is that when I be talking about you guys on my stories on Instagram and everything, you guys are seeing me more than just a fan, just want to meet you guys because I do want to take the time and sit down with most of you and just have these kind of conversations so I can understand, okay, this is how they operate, this is how they went through in life, their life experiences. If you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know how the pie is made, you know, especially when you're growing up. Like when you're young, it's all about the entertainment. But when you get older and you start to have like more critical thinking skills, and you're like, well, okay, you're just the thought comes up. You're like, how is that made? Who is doing that? Who's writing that? Who's animating that? And like, you want those questions answered, and by answering those questions, it's fulfilling you and entertaining you more, to where like you can really appreciate the work even further. um yeah, I love getting to know the nitty gritty sort of behind the scenes, and that's also great. Like, I know I'm kind of going on a tangent now, but seeing the behind the scenes of how my favorite shows are made is one of my favorite things ever. I don't know why, but it's just so cool to watch. Like, whether it be, um, sometimes Crunchyroll does behind the scenes. They don't do it very often, but when they do, it's always so fun. Um, when they did Lord of the Rings, when they did Star Wars, Star Trek, I always try to buy those sets where they'll have the behind the scenes on top of that. And it'll be like, I don't know, like an hour of seeing the actors behind the screen or how they make the sets or the director talking about this specific scene. It's like it's its own show where we're able to get a bird's eye view for the process and not just the finished product. Like the finished product is great. We love it. It's amazing, but it's also nice to see how it's made as well. And especially when I'm a big fan of like making food in general from scratch, I guess like the journey is also a really fun process to watch too and be a part of.
Definitely. So yeah. So I think I just like having, it's like I said, it's like watching a student like Guy Fieri. I just like watching like him go to all these restaurants. I went to one of his restaurants in the airport when I was in Mexico. Really good stuff. So it's really, but yeah, it's like watching those food networks. They learn how this is made in the kitchen. So but that's the same way I'm doing with you guys right now. Saying now having these conversations and understand, how y'all get to where you are now. Just pretty much.
Exactly.
And I was like, I want to keep having these conversations. And I'm not just talking to voice actors. I'm talking to tattoo artists. I'm talking to cosplayers.
Oh,
I got
love,
another,
yeah.
I got another one this Sunday. So I'm just being diverse in who I'm bringing on. And I just talked to another person yesterday who goes to SCAD. She's a filmmaker, so she does like a lot of photography. So I got her on board now. I want to talk to
Beautiful.
her and I just want to pick your brains for a second.
All the artists, yeah, bring them all on.
So, all right. So we're done with that section. I know. I got so many questions, but I'm not trying to go too far. But next one, this is going to be part two. This is going to be interesting because Jay wants to know character deep dive. Okay. So number one, in Heaven's official blessing, you voice Lane Queen Q, if I got that correct.
Long Chin Show.
Okay. Long Queen Show. I'm sorry. I gotta pronounce his
No,
name
I
right.
mean the spelling for it is very difficult. No worries.
So, who's knowable but complex? How did you find the balance between dignity and vulnerability?
I mean, really, there was. I mean, this guy's got a veil over his face for most of the season. He doesn't know a lot of things, like the things that he thought were tried and true are in fact lies, and his whole world comes crashing down and he's like, how do I deal with that? Like what you're telling me doesn't make any sense because I've been living with this person and I know them, and you're telling me that they're not that person, they're actually from somewhere else, they're actually plotting to kill my parents. Like they're my best friend, what are you talking about? So to have something like that happen where you go from like a best friend sort of situation to your worst nightmare, and then to have a mentor who is like has taught you everything, like when your parents are busy running the the state of the business and like all their aristocratic interactions and things like that, you are being tended to by a mentor or your friends or something like that because they don't have time. And this mentor, you see, ends up, spoilers, but like running his sword through your father. And you're like, who are you? Why would you why would you do that? Um, and just like, you know, the mental state that you have to inevitably be in for all of that to crash and to have these people who are you thought were pillars in your life end up crumbling, and like what do? You don't have your support anymore. Um, so really it was just living in the moment and letting those situations hit me. I had like with that show, we were 2 weeks behind. So it was just a regular simuldub situation where uh, the Chinese came out first, and then we would record afterwards. So we can always watch the previous episode. So I would research that way, and when I got the role, I was like, okay, this is a big one. So I don't read a whole lot of manga. The only manga I've read is Gachiakata, by the way. But I don't read them because I I simply watch too much anime. I don't have enough time for manga. If I were to put manga on top of that, there would be no I just need like 48-hour days, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um so you're so you're um reading it, you're just watching the show, and then I'm getting the information, the backstory of this character through people who have like absolutely loved this, backwards and forwards have read the manhwa. And I was like, okay, tell me about Long Chain Show. What's up with this tiger that he's got in the audiobook series or whatever? So, well, what's his family like? Who are they in charge of? What's the clan situation and why do they hate each other? Very like Romeo Juliet type situation. Um, and like who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Does anybody remember who started what? Like, what's the point? Um, Tell me about the demon slash ghost situation. And so they let me into all that information. And I use that. I use the research that I did beforehand with watching the previous episode. And then just like when we're previewing the show in the booth, I'm just letting the situation hit me, and just also understanding that I am trying my best to emulate what the Seiyu is doing, not Seiyu, but the voice actor, the original voice actor is doing, and then putting my own emotion in there and just being myself while just like making sure justice is done to the show and the material. So yeah, it was just basically research, and just living in the moment. Um,
Gotta do that research.
yeah.
Listen, listen. I don't. Let me tell you something. I don't come here without researching each individual. Like, I want to know exactly who I'm talking to. Since like I know most voice actors will mostly go read the manga first or watch the TV show, or because I know when some of you guys have like those big films and like some of those big films, some of y'all don't know much about the character at all. So y'all just have to read it because it's a really original character. Like we just don't know anything about it until we start like going into it. But yeah, research is definitely key. I've done that a lot since I started this whole thing. Like, listen, listen. When I was doing photography back when I was in college, I just kept taking pictures. Like, did I take the time to understand the theme or what story I was telling? No. So I decided to put that back on the show. So pick this thing up. So I'm doing better with reading more information, because I think it's the main goal is that I just want to give y'all information and let y'all decide for yourselves. Like, this is what I found. What do you guys think about it? And I think that's the same thing what y'all have to do as voice actors and performers and all kind of actors. Y'all have to research on different types of projects, anime characters, know exactly what their characteristics, their personalities are, what they went through, the tragic, and get ready to apply it to in the studio.
I mean,
Basically.
the big thing for us is, yeah, like we don't have a whole lot of time to like figure all of the given circumstances out in the booth. So I mean, because time is money and this stuff is done very fast, we obviously don't get scripts beforehand. So and obviously, so you can watch the show beforehand if it's available, but the thing is, that's not going to be what it looks like. Like, that's not going to be the script that you're going to get. Obviously, they're going to localize it and change it to make it make sense in the English language a little bit more. So the script you get, what you see for the first time, is when you're in the booth and you're doing the thing. So you don't have time to be like, okay, well, let me see, where's he from? What do they like to do? What are their occupation? No, you just have to go straight in. So it's really important that we know, like, you got to be a good actor. you have to be an actor first. You got to know your stuff. You have to have the foundation and to be able to be confident enough to get it done in such a short amount of time. And yeah, I mean, especially for voice acting, there's a lot of restrictions as far as time, as far as the flaps in general, as far as the writing, and the fact that we don't get anything beforehand. Like, it's a whole lot of improv. It's a whole lot of, like, cold reading that you have to be on for. Like, you get a couple takes, sure, but we can't do, like, 10 takes to get it perfect every single time. Like, we gotta nail it on the word go. So, as much as you can prepare beforehand is really helpful.
Exactly. Listen. If you have to stay up all night, well, I don't recommend you stay up all night. You'll be tired. But get it right until it sinks before you go to sleep. But yes, please don't take as much as you can to prepare because you only get one shot. That's it. We can't. I was like, we don't have all day, so we gotta
Yeah.
get it right first time. Number two. I still need to get back to that show. Blue Lock is pure intensity. How did you bring that drive to Itsuki Waka Suki?
Iski Wakatsuki is this haunted individual. Like I was like, "Hey, Rig, why me?" And he was like, "You just had this really, oh God, I don't remember what he said, but it's like you were one of the only ones who were very just like in your own world. Like it was not a Blue Lock sort of world where like he had these baggy eyes, these big O eyes and stuff. And I was like, this guy doesn't sleep at all. He's scared of something. There's a ghost chasing him or something. So and sort of the softer voices are things that I do a lot of. So I'm like, okay, I got this. And he was there for 2 or 3 episodes, and, he doesn't do a whole lot. He ends up getting subbed out, um, for Van Bar Jr.'s character, which he's crazy because he ends up, like, saying he wants to impregnate the goal or something with
Oh my
his
god!
with his
What?
shot. So, definitely not as crazy as that. It really unfortunately for that character, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just like, "Oh, you think you can get past me? Yep. No, you can't." Um, and, no, I mean, there wasn't really much to it. So, it was really fun to work on that show, but yeah, there just wasn't a whole lot to work with.
I tell you, man, they be saying a lot of crazy shit in these shows. I tell you, I just
That
be
one.
amazed. I listen every time when I watch these shows. I be like, how are these guys comfortable saying all this?
Oh, he takes the cake. The craziest character by far. I'm like, "Oh my god, how are they not censoring him?"
I'm like, I might need to, yeah, but yeah, I need to get back to that show.
Yeah, catch up.
I'm trying because thing is lately I've been trying to like watch. I've been watching like a few other shows. I just I'm actually about to watch My Hero Academia season 7 because the final season's in 2 weeks now.
That's right,
So
that's right.
and plus the fourth movie. Can't forget about the movie. So
Yeah.
listen. I know the movies are canon, but don't forget the movies. Like you got to have a movie break.
I am I'm guilty of that as well. When it comes to movies, I also don't know what's canon and what's not when it happens in the show or whether it's after the show, a prequel in the middle of it. So I haven't watched a whole lot of anime movies. I can probably count on my hand how many I've watched.
Hey, don't stretch yourself out. Go do the research, and then I just figure out, man, let's just stop at this episode and do the movie break. But it's I got used to it. Number three, and I got a cheat skill in another world. You played Ryo, Igarashi. How do you keep characters in fantasy worlds relatable?
Yeah, Rio, he was the best friend of Yuya, who was Lee George at the time, or not at the time. He is Yuya, but supposedly there's going to be season 2 or something like that. I don't know, but that was one of my actually, that was one of my first times where I was a more consistent episode, like coming in weekly for that, as the best friend of Yuya. And relatable, he was like the person looking, he was like the audience, like trying to um understand Yuya as he comes into the school with him and being like, "Oh my god, you can jump from a four-story building, no problem, and legs are not broken? Like, what's going on here, dude?" And just, like, showing Yuya the ropes for how this situation works, and, just kinda getting him linked up with a bunch of different people, and just being his support no matter what, difficulties he's going through. If there's, like, some bad guys or something, he'll even though Yuya can definitely take care of himself, he tries, you know? But, yeah, it's more like he's just a really supportive friend who wants to see Yuya succeed. Um, and I feel like even if Yuya were to start in the beginning, if you've seen the show, like his first episode where he is like he comes in like really big physically, and then he goes through this transformation whenever he goes into the other world, and like stats go like crazy through the roof, and he becomes this new like model type individual, and now everybody's paying attention to him, whereas they weren't before, and he was getting bullied like crazy in the first episode. It was really hard to watch. But being someone who was bullied a lot in school, but yeah, I think Rio would still be that person who would be like, "Man, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you do. You're a cool dude with a cool personality, and I just want to be your friend and help you out." So, as far as keeping them relatable, um, I mean, I wish that for all my friends too. So it really didn't uh, take a whole lot to get to that place.
Okay, I might need to check it out. Okay, man, that's my watch list. Yes.
It's a good one. I do like it. He was. It's funny. He was like one of the ones who I really leaned into. Like he's a bro. He's like a bro's bro. Just like really there for you, dude. And that was really fun to do. So I always look back on that show, and there was some actually there were some times when I was really sick during during that show. But, yeah, I love my time there. I love Sheet and I can't wait for it to come back if it does come back.
Oh man, I can't wait too. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out at a later time. Number four, Ferdinand Brancott in I Shall Survive using potions.
That's right.
Has more comedic energy. Do you approach comedy different than the drama?
Always. He man, that guy is ridiculous. Just this noble guy who's going to, like, take over his father's position and isn't really in touch with the world around him, and is very much like, okay, my attendance will do what needs to be done, and then I really want the main character as like my wife. And he's like, no, really isn't in my vocabulary, which is a little which is a little problematic, but he does it in a funny way.
Wow.
So he's like, "All right, yeah, I would like to have you as my wife now. Come with me." And she's like, "Well, no. First of all, I don't know you, and what's the point? Like, why?" And he's like, "You can do a lot of stuff. You're pretty. I like you, and I have a lot of money, and I'm beautiful as well. So I don't see what the problem is. No one's told me no before." And just like amongst this group of people, just having this conversation. And he's like, "What is going on here? My world is turning upside down. This has never happened before." And just like how he responds to, I think it's like people acting normally around him. and then he is just this outlier and being like, just being as truthful as possible as I can with him in his limited worldview and being honest with it and not like going like it's obviously not about going too far and going ham and overdoing it. It's underselling it where the comedy comes in. Like the comedy speaks for itself. Don't try to make people laugh. You just doing the honesty of it and the absurdity of the situation will make it funny. Like, don't try to add anything to it. Don't try to add your own spin to it. Like, just let it live and it will do its job.
Don't try too hard in one day, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds like you had a few stumbles with that guy. He was like kind of like Joker in his head. Oh my god,
It was the best.
that sounds very. That's all these shows you're telling me these characters. I need to go check them out now.
You got a lot of shows to watch. I'm telling you, the isekais, and that is technically an isekai, but it doesn't feel like one.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. No, we're almost at the end of this section. Number 5, my dress up darlings, Shiki Kashiwagi is more grounded. Now, how do you capture everyday realism compared to high energy anime roles?
Yeah, so at first, I just thought he was this soft-spoken guy who was kind of just has a little bit of an attitude with the people around him, and just like telling it, just an honest guy who's just telling it like it is, keeping everybody on track. And like his best friend, or I assume his best friend, but Zeno Robinson is this incredibly loud guy, and I'm like the antithesis to that. And like we grew up together and stuff like that. But the dynamic is great. Like the amount of personalities, like it shouldn't work, but somehow it does. It just meshes really well. So and it's really cool too because he's not just like this archetype or this trope of a character. He goes through a lot. And I was honestly I didn't think I'd be in as many episodes as I have so far. Um like getting ready for the cultural festival or whatever where we're
Yeah,
uh you know making the main character into a I forgot what it was, but basically making her look more masculine and putting her in a tuxedo and all this stuff and doing the chant from an anime within an anime and stuff like that. Um, and he gets really heated. He gets really heated. He was like, I want to win. I want to do this. We got to do this the right way. Even though the other class is like the line for them and for what they're doing is so long, it looks like they're gonna win. And then he's got that fire behind him. He's like, there's no way we're gonna do this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, where did this come from? He's got such a fire in him. Where did this come from? Like he did not show this beforehand. So it's really just like these are people that they're trying to write about and not just make them this 2D little piece of artwork that's moving along the screen, you know.
and nobody wants that.
No, I mean, listen, our tastes have changed for the better, I think. And uh as close as we can get them to people and making them like more rounded and dynamic and not one note makes for a very interesting and entertaining story. And with this show being an absolute classic and the animation is on another level, like it's very easy. So it's just, I've done this a lot. I've done this for a long time. Just uh I just whatever is previewing and whatever situation is happening, I just let it take over for however many hours I'm in the studio.
Hey, keep trying to land until it sticks.
Yeah.
So, last question of this section. Now, between darker roles like Chesslock, Black Butler, I was going to say Blue Lock again. Get out of my head, Blue Lock. Chesslock, Black Butler, and regal ones like King Edmund II, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. Which one was harder to nail?
Which one was harder to what?
Which one was harder to nail down?
Well, um, between just those characters,
Yeah, just between those two.
I'd say Black Butler.
Okay.
Well, actually, okay. I wouldn't like actually Black Butler wasn't that hard for me. Like I do a fairly okay British voice, and that sort of voice that I do beside like without adding, the accent to it is in my wheelhouse. So it was really nice like getting to be that aggressive guy for a change. And I really love his aesthetic too. So actually I'd say it wasn't too difficult. What I will say was difficult was King Edmund, actually, in Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, because he was probably the softest dude I've done. And it's like, he doesn't show a lot of emotion on his face. And as far as the Japanese went, like, I didn't hear much at all either. So it was like keeping that regal air and like knowing, sorry, someone's calling. Okay, bye. Um, dear Lord, I'm sure you can hear that. I'm sorry.
I
Um,
can't hear it.
oh, fantastic, great. Um, but like keeping the regal air with him, the authoritative nature of him being a king, and like not giving too much, but also like not just being a plank of wood, just saying stuff and like trying to make it interesting. And it's like, oh, this piece here is absolutely immaculate. What you did with this and how you played with the shape of it all. And it's like it's very internal what his emotions are, and he's not really like he's almost not even moving his mouth at all besides just like doing the like it's not he's not smiling, he's not doing any of this. Um so that was really difficult for me. I remember me doing take after take trying to nail down exactly like okay, you can be soft, but you still got to put some punch behind it sometimes. Uh and like I don't know, it was so difficult for me. I it's like it's akin to those characters where like Xeno and Link Click, where you are this monotone guy that doesn't really show a whole lot of emotion a lot of times. And but whenever they do, you have to nail it. And that's what like makes it more pronounced. It's like it's not that that character isn't experiencing any emotions or anything. It's just like how they're dealing with it. It's very hard to nail the dynamics of sounding monotone, but like not being boring with the read. And that takes a real professional to do. And anytime I think about those types of characters, I think of Xeno because Link Click is the epitome of that. Like Lu Guang is the epitome of that type of character. Very, very, very hard to do. And you can absolutely fall for the trap and phone it in, and you can do an okay enough job, but like a pro like him can take it to a whole other level. So, um, and that was early in my career. So, it's not my best work, but I tried at the time.
That's all you can do. And listen. Even guys like Zeno Robinson, Chris Savage, Sean Shamil, etc. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna have those certain times and still be like, oh, shoot, I messed up. Can we try again? It's part,
Happens as part of
it's
it.
it's part of being human too. Like
Yeah.
I know I can't be this person. Like I don't care what this person and does. All that matters is what I'm trying to do. Like I said, we're not all perfect. We're all human beings. We're going. Listen, you're gonna make mistakes. It's inevitable. But how are you gonna learn from it?
Yeah.
That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. That's all we gotta ask. Again, we're getting close to the end here. I don't know if you got anywhere else to be, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
I
So,
do gotta leave fairly soon, but yeah, let's hear it.
so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna ask like the top important questions. So pretty much like 5 of these, and then five. Actually, no, 4 to 5. Let's see how far we get.
Okay.
Okay, just let me know. Um, how do you keep multiple voices distinct when working on different projects at the same time?
Oh, that's easy. So every time I go into a room, the director will be like, "Hey, do you want a preview? Like a reference for your character?" And I'd be like, "Absolutely." So for what I'm doing right now, Crow in Seventh Prince, I know him. I don't have to have a reference for him. He's just like upper mid range for me. Nothing really. I kind of do that voice a lot, so nothing. I don't have to really do that. For Kashiwagi for my dress up darling, I don't have to either. He's sort of just like chilling in like the lower sort of not lower, but just like middle range. Like he's just me essentially, so it's not a big deal. Um, for August, for sure. Like, um, just to make sure I nail down everything, and Black Butler too. Like, I gotta make sure that all of that stays consistent. So, yeah, I just simply ask the director for a reference for the previous episode, and then I just sort of, um, do chase the line, essentially, just doing it alongside so I can get back into the groove of things, and then, just going right into it after that, and then it's pretty easy.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice because I know when people do multiple voices, they have to switch. Okay, we're in this realm now. I got to switch both my voice to this show. Same
Yeah.
thing with the next one and afterwards because I know y'all have done so many characters over the years, and I figure yeah they do tend to switch their voices into this different realm of the show that we're doing. So it's once you get used to it, it's really not much of a problem. As you said,
Right,
it's
right,
easy.
right.
Um, how do you adapt when a director asks you to change your performance completely on the spot?
That doesn't happen often because whenever we're in the show, we're previewing what we're seeing, like, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room for, like, what the character is feeling and how we are acting that out. Of course, like, there's different ways of going about how the character is feeling and how that, um, works on your delivery. I haven't really, done a show where the director's like, "Let's go a completely different route." It's mainly just like, "Oh, the way you said that was not really what I was thinking. I was sort of thinking like such and such." And then you'd be like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that." And sometimes what makes that difficult is if you're in the booth for a while and your brain just gets fried, it happens to everybody where you're just like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you want uh you want to stress this word and you want to go up instead of down. Got you. I can do that." And then the beeps come in and then you do exactly the opposite and you're like, "Oh god." And they're like, "You didn't do it. You didn't do it at all." And I'm like, "Did I not? Oh my gosh." So that just comes with like, you know, um being tired in the booth and things like that. But,
Okay.
as far as what you're referencing, I can't think in my head of a moment when that happened. So, it's more like intonation, like the stress and how you're ending a sentence.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, because I never know if that actually happened before, so I just thought maybe I might want to throw that question at you. But I guess it's just to like maybe just like the sort of day you're having because it happens at rare moments. So
very
that's
true.
good. So now, next question. This one's gonna be interesting. Have you noticed any big shifts in the anime dubbing industry since you started? Because lately, with some of the anime news people I've been following, they saying people are liking the dubbing more than the subs these days.
Yeah. So, what really changes that, like, is when the English comes at the same time as the original. Like, that helps viewership a lot. And the best example I can give is Kaiju number 8. Like, Sean was talking to me about it, and most of the viewership is English. Like, not it's like 90% English, if not more so. So, like, to have that kind of stat for an
Mhm.
anime is insane. Like, that never happens. So, I would love for English to, like, have more of a exactly as you're saying, like, "Oh, dubs are actually good," because like, the dub and sub hating and stuff like that, it's just so it gets
Mhm.
so old and it feels so antiquated, like, this
Yeah.
isn't the old school for kids type of acting, not to be rude, but back then, it was very different, and it just, like, with more time as we do this and we get into the groove of things and studio changes, writing changes, things are evolving all the time, subtly, even if it's not like a huge change. Uh, the shows, like I said, are more grounded, and
Mhm.
excuse me, not everything is going to be like One Piece. There is still One Piece, obviously, but more and more. I mean, that's why we're looking for more actors first, is because the work is getting harder and harder, and we need people who know, like, what they're doing, and here's the thing, what's changing, they're not really asking us to change our voice very much. They mainly just want the natural lived-in voice that you have and just act the crap out of it. That's what they don't want you to worry about, like, trying to put on this funny cartoony voice. That's not what matters. What matters is that the quality of the work is good, and as long as your performance meets their expectations, then, you're solid. And that's what I think, like, I know a lot of people online care a bunch about the actor how the actor's voice sounds and what the voice is like and if it matches the character. But if they're getting a good performance, like, that's what I think is what matters. And that's definitely the thing that's changing the most is, like, not putting on this sort of thing all the time, and that's the thing, like, we're talking about references and things like that, keeping track of our characters. For the most part, like, we have, you know, like, I wanna say 3 to 5 solid voices that we can do that are pretty natural to us, and we don't wanna go outside of that because there are other people in this industry that are natural at what we're not natural at. So don't worry about it. Just worry about your voice, be good at acting and doing your thing, reading the script. And yeah, I'd say that's the biggest change.
And let me be honest, truth be told, I haven't been watching much of the English dub lately. The only reason why I've been watching the English subtitles because I'm trying to learn Japanese because I do want to go to Japan. I'm trying to go
Sure.
there next year in 2026. But
Oh, beautiful.
I want to do my best to get back to hearing you guys' voices because you guys put the effort and time into voicing these characters as well. I didn't want to feel like I was disrespecting you guys. I just want to make sure I learn the language as well. So I have it in my head for like when I do travel out of the country to like Japan or something.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, people are saying the dub is getting better, and I do agree. The dub and sub, like, be honest, I don't care if it's dub or sub. If it's a good, like, as long as the show is out and it doesn't matter what language it is, I'm ready to watch it. I don't care. Like, shoot, I'll grab my popcorn or something or snacks and just sit down and watch the show.
I love that. We need more of those people.
I'm one of the good ones. So, because listen, I respect y'all time. I respect all the work y'all put into these shows. So,
Thank you.
just want y'all to know I appreciate you guys doing
I appreciate you.
that.
The
Like,
haters are very vocal. What can you do?
I know. I think we're at the end here. What advice would you give to aspiring voice actors who want to get into anime dubbing?
So I've given this many times. I'm not sure what to change, but and unfortunately, this is something that has been tooted a bunch by other voice actors as well. Um, you don't necessarily have to be in a hub city like Texas or LA or New York or Atlanta to a degree, Chicago. You just gotta because there's so many home projects, right? I do a bunch of commercial work as well. I would say, like, if you don't have the foundation in acting, I know you don't like to hear it, but and it sounds like it's not exciting, you're not getting in front of the voice directors, but if you don't have the ability and like, if you don't have the foundation of acting in general, like I said, since we go so fast, since the timeline is so fast and you have to be on your stuff all the time, you can't be worried about your acting. You can't be like if a director's having to pull you along to get what they need, if they are doing like 10 takes to get you to a mid performance as it were, then that's taking too long. And obviously things have to change. So if you don't have that training, I suggest do the training first. And you don't have to go like, listen, I went to school for it. You don't have to go to school for it. You don't have to be thousands upon thousands of dollars in debt. Okay. You can take just tiny classes of the classics. Like you can do Meisner. Meisner's really great. You can do the Stanislavski. You can do the Chekhov method. Any of those. Like obviously it's not a one shot fit or one stop fits all type situation. You figure out what works for you and you just sort of expand your horizons as far as what is possible with acting and how these like legends came to figure these things out in their books. And just try to exercise that as much as you can. And then whenever you're confident in your abilities and you want to test your abilities out, then you can start paying for these classes with these voice directors. Because here's the thing, if you don't know your stuff and you go for these voice directors and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get in front of them and then I'm gonna do a really good job and then I'm gonna get in their show. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen most of the time. Okay. So, like, if you do your shot, if you go for your shot too early and you're not ready for it, then they will either remember your performance, which is the worst thing, or they'll forget you and you can try again, but you've wasted the money. So, in order to not waste your money, do those couple of classes either in person, like in whatever city you're at, where there's a teacher who knows their stuff, is qualified to teach that specific method of acting. Or you can do, just try to find some YouTube videos. If you're trying to save money, just see what's out there. I don't know what's out there, but for me, um, there's a Shakespeare book. If you're looking like, I think you should learn Shakespeare too. Um, like getting a handle on the classics can help you in the modern day stuff too. It's not just for the period stuff. So I would say like doing a little bit of the acting work, doing a little bit of Shakespeare. If you don't know any Shakespeare, just kind of challenge yourself with the Shakespeare because it's like another language, right? And once you master that, the other stuff I think will get easier for you. And there's a book that I use. Oh, it's on my phone, but I'm using my phone, so I don't know. It's called Speaking the Speech, I think? Oh god, I forgot. It's by Giles Block, and it really, like and it's applicable to Shakespeare, but it's applicable to, like, breaking down any sort of text, like, measuring the beats out, the story beats, uh, circling certain words or why you're saying you instead of thou, like what's the relationship between you and the other person, Why does it rhyme at the end and things like that. Like, it's a very, very, very insightful book that helped me a lot with my recent Shakespearean stuff that I've done. Absolutely invaluable. Um, I wish I had the correct title, but it's Giles Block, which is the author. But yeah, I'd say that's my advice.
So, basically, you said what I was thinking. Make sure you do the research. Make sure you know what you're walking into. You don't want to go into unknown territory without being prepared.
Exactly. Yeah. Be as prepared as you can, just like we've been talking about.
Exactly. See, even I'm telling myself, keep doing what I've been doing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you know your stuff.
So, well, I guess that's it. We almost reached 2 hours. I was like,
Nice. Yeah, my
this was
voice is gone.
it was a lot of talking about. But hey, I want to make sure I just want to make sure I got a lot of information. I learned something here. Pick your brain for a second. But yeah, I think this was a very insightful conversation because I do have a friend of mine who I interviewed last time. She wants advice how to get into voice acting. So this could help.
There's also plenty. Well, one last thing. There's also plenty of character workouts, actor workouts, where you're not necessarily with the voice directors. You're just with like veteran actors, who I know, like Real Voice LA, or sometimes they'll do little tiny actor workshops where there's no pressure or anything. You're just testing out what you can do with things that you want work on with actors who know what they're doing. So, and they're also very cheap. Matthew David Rudd, I know, did a lot of them. I don't know if he still does them, but he's in Blue Lock too. It was like $30 or so. So it was really inexpensive for like 2 hours or so. So check that out too.
Sweet. Well, hey man, Brandon, I want to appreciate you the time to come here to talk to me for a bit. I am, like I said before, with you voice actors, I want to sit down and have these conversations. Like, to be honest, I'm not in that fanboy era again when I was in high school, and I just want to go and meet you guys because now I'm getting older these days. I actually want to sit down and talk to you guys because y'all have all these amazing stories to tell. So I just want to have that
Yes.
chance to talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, and thanks for all the the deep conversations. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time today. I'll let Jay know we had a great conversation. So it
You
was
got it, man.
amazing. And I tell you enjoy this too.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Just let me know. I'll be here. That was a pleasure, man.
Sure thing. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your day, man.
All right, you too, Phil. I'll see you later, man.